Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here I've got a bag of star rubies. Now I have no idea what these are. I only know that they're star rubies because these came from Pulitzer Opal in a gift bundle he sent over, and he's written there star rubies, so I've got to trust the man. I have no idea why he sent them to me. It's a bit of a curveball, and I'm just going to assume that it's because he thinks I can do something with them. Now I'm not going to research it at all, so any help would be great. This video, I'm just going to cut one up and see how we go. Just going to treat it exactly like I would an opal, because why else would he send it to me? I'm hoping that I'm going to go for the right strategy. I've seen star sapphires before, never heard of a star ruby, didn't know it was a thing. Hoping it's something similar. I've never seen how you work them, so all I'm going to do is get the old chopstick dopstick and we're going to super glue that on. But to do that, I'm going to use a coarse file because I thought it was a little bit big. You want to use the coarse and not the fine. You want it to give something, the glue something to stick to. And all I'm going to do is trim down the edges a little bit, then get the old Loctite super glue. Any glue will work. You want the thickest super glue you can get. I was going to epoxy resin it with the 5-minute epoxy like I usually do, but I really wanted to work it immediately. So I've got the old 80 grits into diamond, and I'm going to be super gentle. I don't know if this just shatters like glass. I assume it's not, because it should be corundum, which is aluminium oxide. I know rubies are in that family, so I'm just giving it a light rub, and all I'm seeing is pretty good. It's coming off not quickly, but also not super hard. Coming off all white, actually looks a lot like aluminium oxide powder. So we're just gonna very carefully take out all of these really sharp points. It's kind of shaped like a hexagon. It's super weird. I guess that's just how it grows. I'm super uncomfortable with anything non-opal related. Actually, I'm getting used to fire agate a little bit, but not really. And you can see here, all I've done is step 1, shape it into a bit of a cylinder shape. And now I'm going to use the same 80 grits into diamond to just take off all of the corners. And we're going to start giving it a bit of a dome. A pretty high dome, because the only star sapphires I've seen have really high domes. So here I'm going to do the same thing. This is it after the 80 grits into diamond, and I'm noticing a little bit of chipping, but it turns out it's not really chipping. We'll see what it is just in a minute. Some of you that are familiar with the material might already know. But I switch over to the 240 grits into diamond. A lot of the time with opal, you'll see me jump straight to 600. For this one, because of how hard it is, I thought I'd have to do the intermediate step, or it'll take forever for the 600 to get rid of the 80 grits into diamond burr scratches. They are very brutal. This is a nice in-between, and this is the flaw that I'm talking about. I'm seeing these like circular patterns in the two spots on the stone, and it looks like almost fragmenting, or like the thing is grown in sheets, and some of the sheets are not very well attached to each other. I grind away at it a lot more and get rid of one almost completely, but the other one's still sticking around. And to do that, I mostly did it with the 600. So I pretty much finished the shaping, the coarse shaping with the 600 grits into diamond as per usual. It was still coming off fairly fast, but took quite a while. And then you can see here, I took off that topmost layer of the little onion thing forming underneath and just kept the rest. And then went with my prototype hard resin diamond burrs. So the 200, 400, 800, 1500. I've ditched the 3000, the 1500 transitioning across to the aluminium oxide or cerium oxide. It works really well. And for some reason, I'm having very strange issues with the 3000 grit burr. So unfortunately, I am going to be ditching that one because 1, it's not overly useful. I'm not going to rely on it to get a final polish anyway. And 2, it's just not working that well for me. I don't know why. I think the resin is slightly different. And as a result, the diamond grit, even though it's going up, is behaving not as good as the 1500. So I'm very close to pulling the trigger on these now. These still don't have the correct coloring, because I'm going to actually color the resin rather than color code the shanks or anything like that. I don't really like that system. And I'll just make it match the color coding of the sintered diamond burr. Since they're my own custom burr, I can do whatever I want really. So might as well make it match, make it simple. But anyway, we're just going to work on these stones. Each one's pretty similar, just hit the entire face until we end up with what we end up with. Let's have a look. Well, here we are. I'll always admit when I have no idea what I'm doing, and I have no idea about star rubies at all. So I've completely cut this one blind, and it's turned out pretty well. Now, the one thing I don't really know is, where is the star So I have seen the star sapphires before, and I assume this is very similar, and there should just be some really sharp little lines of that silvery glow. And I've got the silvery sheeny look, but there's no star. So maybe it's a bit like opal, even though it's called a star ruby, maybe not all of them have an actual star, instead it's like a special formation. I don't know, Pulitzer's really thrown me a curveball here and I don't quite understand it, but now that I've had a crack at it myself, I will probably go and do some research and check it out. I kept getting these weird radial fractures where we saw those big circles, and I've worked this one out, but you can see that there's just heaps more layers further and further down. But I managed to get rid of the very most exposed part, which makes it look a little bit smoother. And this isn't even at a full polish, so I'm going to leave it on the dopstick just in case someone in the comments says that all you need to do is take it down further or something and that's where the star is, because I honestly have no idea. But if I were to polish this one, I'd just go with the aluminium oxide. Star rubies, one thing I do know is that they are a corundum based stone, so aluminium oxide, so I'll hit it with the aluminium oxide or diamond paste. The cerium oxide probably would not improve the shine too much at all. It's too weak and abrasive, and we're not doing the silica reaction. So it's much more mechanical polishing than chemical polishing, so I'm going to have to use aluminium oxide minimum for this because that's about the hardness of the stone, I guess. Though I don't know what this silvery sheeny stuff that's meant to form the star is made out of. Some kind of impurity, I'm sure. So yeah, instead of a star, I just got a kind of like a, I don't know, silvery shine. But you know what? If it's just something about being unlucky, there were plenty of other stones to cut. I mean, maybe I even took it the wrong way, and instead of going down this way with that little hexagon shape around it, maybe I'm meant to cut it from this side? I really don't have too much idea. I don't see any star in any of these pieces, but I do see just underneath, you can see that silvery sheen. Maybe I'm meant to be able to see a star already. I'm not sure. I can give them a slice and see if any of them have a star inside them. But you guys are going to know way better than me. Someone in the comments, help me out. A couple hundred people might see this video, and it would be really good if one of them knew what these star rubies were all about. Or at least if you know somewhere where I can find some good information on it, please just chuck it in. YouTube will probably block the comment because it's got a link in it or something, but I'll try to fish it out of the filtered out comments. Mostly it just captures abusive messages and links. And the links are always super helpful, so I need to find a way to deactivate that. Anyway, there's not much more I can say about it. Just made a small round. Next time I do it, if it is true that I just attack it from that same angle, I'll mount this one onto a nail, glue it onto a nail, and mount the nail into the Dremel, into the flex shaft, and I'll give it an actual spin and use the sandpaper method, which I've shown on the channel. That's a good cheats way of getting perfect circles. This one I thought, Pulitzer sent it to me for some reason. Maybe my techniques would work on this like it does on opal, so I pretty much treated it exactly like I would a small opal. Anyway, I'll leave it on the dopstick. You guys try to get me some information, if not from you directly, some kind of source that you know of. I'd very much love a YouTube video or two, or maybe there's a star ruby, star sapphire YouTube channel that can really help me out, because I really do like learning from the videos. If there's a channel out there for this material that does a similar thing to me, I would very much love to know. One last close little look at it. Got that nice little silver glimmer, but doesn't really look like a star. Maybe the next one. Let me know and I can create a follow-up video in the near future. Thanks for watching me carve something I have no idea about, but now I'll move on to stuff I do know, and that is opal. So see you in the next one, guys.